A brutal storm lashes the forests of Washington state. Lightning cuts through the dark sky while rain hammers the roof of an ultra-secret military facility hidden among the century-old trees. Inside Genesis Laboratory, something has gone very wrong. Security systems fail one after another. Red lights flash in panic, and from an enormous containment chamber emerges a shadow that shouldn't exist. An 8-meter-tall Carnotaurus with pointed horns above its eyes and muscles that contract like war engines. The predator breaks through the last armored glass barriers like they were paper. Its yellow eyes glow in the darkness as it sniffs the humid night air. Freedom. For the first time in 70 million years, a Carnotaurus breathes fresh air. But this is not the best part. What comes next will change everything we thought we knew about modern combat. 40 kilometers away, at Everett Naval Base, Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell receives a call that freezes her blood. Code Jurassic confirmed. Operation Sabretooth is active. She gathers her elite Navy SEALs team, each one a veteran of impossible missions in Afghanistan, Iraq, and places that don't even appear on official maps. There's Sergeant Rodriguez, demolition specialist, Corporal Johnson, deadly sniper at 1-200 meters, and Specialist Chen, guru in technology and tracking. People, what I'm about to tell you will sound like science fiction, but it's real, Mitchell says while showing photos of enormous footprints in the mud. We have an 8-meter carnivorous dinosaur loose in the Olympic forests. Carnotaurus. 2 horns, speed of 60 kilometers per hour, jaw that crushes steel. Rodriguez lets out a nervous laugh. Commander, with all due respect, my C4 explosives can bring down a building. This beast won't be a problem. But in 30 minutes, you'll discover why Rodriguez was completely wrong. The SEAL team moves through the forest like ghosts, using night vision goggles and communicating through silent hand signals. The smell of pine and wet earth mixes with something different. Animal musk. Primitive. Dangerous. Chen monitors thermal sensors on his tablet. Commander, I'm picking up a massive heat signature 300 meters northeast. Body temperature of 40 degrees. Too hot for a bear. They advance cautiously between the giant trees when a footprint in the mud makes Johnson swallow hard. It's 80 centimeters long, with 3 toes ending in claws that could pierce military armor. This thing stepped with enough force to sink 15 centimeters into wet ground, Chen whispers. We're talking about 3 tons of weight. But what happens in the next 60 seconds will prove that weight isn't their only problem. A branch breaks behind the team, then another. Mitchell makes the maximum alert signal and everyone freezes, weapons drawn, hearts racing. The sound comes from above. Something immense moves between the treetops, jumping from branch to branch like a giant monkey. Impossible. Carnotaurus don't climb trees, or do they? Suddenly, the world explodes in movement. A mass of muscle and teeth falls from above like a meteor of flesh and bone, landing between Rodriguez and Johnson with an impact that makes the earth shake. For a second that seems eternal, man and monster stare at each other. The Carnotaurus's yellow eyes gleam with cold, almost calculating intelligence. This isn't just a hungry animal, it's a natural strategist. Rodriguez reacts first, firing bursts from his M4A1 machine gun at the creature's chest. The bullets ricochet off the skin like hail hitting tank armor, producing only orange sparks. The Carnotaurus doesn't even retreat. Instead, it tilts its head as if curious about this irritating noise. The bullets aren't penetrating, Mitchell shouts over the radio. Fossilized skin, dense as Kevlar. But wait until you see what this predator does when it gets really angry. The Carnotaurus moves faster than anything alive should be able to. In an explosion of speed, it turns its neck and strikes Rodriguez with its snout, sending the soldier flying 5 meters backward like a rag doll. Mitchell and Johnson open coordinated fire, aiming for the eyes, but the creature lowers its head and uses the bony horns as a shield. Each projectile ricochets in a shower of golden sparks. Chen tries to flank from behind while typing frantically on the tablet. Commander, I'm accessing the laboratory data. Carnotaurus was the Usain Bolt of dinosaurs, leg muscles proportionally larger than any predator in history. The dinosaur turns toward Chen's voice with surgical precision. It doesn't just hear, it understands tactics. Johnson, the sniper, quickly climbs a tree looking for a shot angle at the creature's neck. He positions the Barrett of 50 precision rifle, aims carefully, and fires. The 12.7mm bullet hits the Carnotaurus's neck and finally penetrates a few centimeters before stopping in the dense muscle. The creature roars in pain and fury, a sound that makes the tree leaves tremble. But here's where the situation gets really interesting. Instead of attacking blindly, the Carnotaurus does something that freezes the seal's blood. It stops, looks directly at Johnson in the tree, then at Mitchell on the ground, then at Chen trying to hide behind a fallen trunk. It's mapping positions, calculating, planning. "This thing is studying us," Mitchell whispers into the radio. "Tactic change. Rodriguez, are you injured?" "A few broken ribs, but operational, Commander." Rodriguez gets up staggering, pulling grenades from his backpack. "I'm going to give this fossil a lesson in American democracy." The Carnotaurus suddenly crouches and shoots like a cannonball toward Chen, who barely manages to roll aside before 3 tons of predator destroy the trunk where he was hiding. Wood chips fly like shrapnel. But Chen is smart. While rolling, he activates a beetle-sized reconnaissance drone that silently rises to map the creature's behavior. "Drone in the air! I'm recording movement patterns!" Chen shouts while running zigzag between the trees. The Carnotaurus chases him, but something strange happens. With each direction change by Chen, the dinosaur anticipates the next movement. It's as if it's learning in real time. Mitchell realizes the situation is becoming critical. "Johnson, I need you to hit the eyes. Rodriguez, prepare explosives to create a barrier. Chen, keep running, you're our bait." But in 2 minutes, you'll see why even military explosives might not be enough. Johnson aligns the perfect shot. Controlled breathing, calculated wind, stabilized aim. The rifle's crosshairs fix on the Carnotaurus's left yellow eye. Shot. The bullet cuts through the night air like a lethal ray, but at the last second, the dinosaur slightly moves its head to the side. The bullet passes by, only scraping off some scales. "Impossible," Johnson whispers. "It predicted the shot." Rodriguez positions 3 C4 charges on trees, forming a triangle around the predator. "Ready to turn this museum into confetti!" He activates the detonator. The explosions illuminate the forest like the sun, sending shock waves that make birds fly in panic kilometers away. Smoke and debris cover everything. When the dust settles, the Carnotaurus is still standing, injured, bleeding from some cuts, but its yellow eyes gleam with primitive fury that makes the seal's hair stand on end. It has learned that humans use fire as a weapon. Now it will teach that teeth and claws are eternal. "Chen, drone report," Mitchell orders while reloading. "Commander, I'm seeing something incredible. It's not just reacting, it's adapting. Watch the movement pattern." Chen shows the tablet where the drone captured the last hour. In the first chases, it ran in straight lines. Now it's using trees as cover, approaching through blind spots, forcing us to separate. That's when Mitchell has a realization that changes everything. "People, this isn't just a dinosaur, it's a general. It's dividing us to conquer," she observes while the Carnotaurus positions itself strategically, keeping Johnson in the tree isolated from the group. Rodriguez, Johnson, Chen, new formation, defensive triangle 15 meters apart. It wants to separate us, so let's come together. But what no one expected is that the Carnotaurus also had a plan B. The creature suddenly stops moving and tilts its head, as if listening to something humans can't hear. Then it emits a low, guttural roar that resonates through the forest like a primitive call. Mitchell feels a chill down her spine. "Chen, how many dinosaurs were in the laboratory?" Chen frantically checks the hacked files. His face pales. "Commander, there were 3 Carnotaurus. This is just the alpha." As if summoned by black magic, roars respond in the distance. First one, then another, echoing between the mountains. The pack is gathering. But here's where the seals show why they're considered the best in the world. "Mission change," Mitchell announces with a firm voice. "We're no longer hunting, we're being hunted." "Chen, I need data on Carnotaurus pack behavior." "Johnson, find an elevated position with view of multiple directions." "Rodriguez, explosives to channel movement." Let's turn this forest into a battlefield that favors humans, not dinosaurs. Chen types rapidly while the Alpha Carnotaurus watches them with the patience of an experienced predator. Commander, historical Carnotaurus hunted alone, but these were genetically modified. The laboratory tried to recreate social pack behavior for military studies. Great, Rodriguez laughs nervously. Dinosaurs with teamwork, what could go wrong? Johnson, from his position in the tree, spots two massive silhouettes approaching through the shadows. Visual contact with two additional hostiles, 200 meters east-southeast, moving in coordinated flanking. But what happens next will show that sometimes David really can beat Goliath if David is smart enough. Mitchell has an epiphany. Chen, these dinosaurs were created in a laboratory, right? I mean, they never hunted real prey, never faced organized resistance? Chen confirms frantically. Exactly. They only know simulations and controlled environments. Then let's give them a lesson in modern warfare. Mitchell smiles for the first time that night. Rodriguez, you said your explosives can bring down trees? I need you to create a controlled avalanche on that slope. Johnson, when I give the signal, I want suppressive fire on all three targets. Not to kill, but to force them to move into the kill zone. Chen, your drone will be our eyes. The Alpha Carnotaurus still watches them, but now there's something different in its yellow eyes. Uncertainty. These humans stopped running and started planning. This wasn't in the laboratory's simulation programs. Rodriguez positions strategic charges at the base of 5 giant trees on the steep slope above the dinosaurs. Commander, when these redwoods fall, they'll create a domino effect. It'll be like bowling, but with 100-ton logs. Chen's drone detects the 2 flanking Carnotaurus approaching. Hostiles at 100 meters and closing. They're trying to surround us. Perfect, Mitchell whispers. Let them come. Johnson, first shot on the Alpha, right eye. Rodriguez, 3 seconds later, you detonate. Chen, monitor the reaction of the other 2. But here comes the part that will make you hold your breath. Johnson aligns the most important shot of his career. The Alpha Carnotaurus is 50 meters away, eyes fixed on the humans, muscles tensed for the final attack. The sniper controls his breathing, feels the wind, calculates the distance. His finger finds the trigger. Bang! The Barrett 50 bullet cuts through the night and this time finds its target. The Alpha's right eye explodes in a shower of yellow fluids. The creature roars in agony and fury, shaking its massive head, but now it's half blind and disoriented. Now! Mitchell shouts. Rodriguez activates the detonator. 5 simultaneous explosions cut through the trunks of the century-old redwoods. For a moment that seems suspended in time, the giant trees hesitate, then begin to fall like colossal dominoes. The sound is apocalyptic. Wood splitting, branches shattering, earth shaking. The Alpha Carnotaurus looks up with its good eye, and for the first time in 70 million years, a member of its species feels something it had never experienced. Pure fear. It tries to run, but with one eye destroyed, its coordination is compromised. Crash. The first redwood hits the ground with the force of a localized earthquake. Then the second. The third catches the Alpha with a glancing blow, sending it rolling down the slope like a 3-ton ragdoll. The other 2 Carnotaurus stop in panic, never having seen trees falling like projectiles. Chen, hostile status, Mitchell shouts over the crash. Alpha is injured but mobile. The other 2 are retreating. They seem scared? This is where the SEAL's strategy shows its true genius. People, laboratory dinosaurs have never seen humans changing the environment against them, Mitchell explains, while they move to phase 2 of the plan. They expected prey that runs, not predators that think. Rodriguez, prepare incendiary charges. We're going to create a fire barrier to separate the Alpha from the other 2. The Alpha Carnotaurus gets up staggering, half-blind, bleeding from various wounds, but still dangerously lethal. It emits a desperate call roar to its companions, but Johnson is already repositioned with interdiction shots. Commander, I have clean shots on both flankers. Negative. I don't want to kill them. I want to scare them. Warning shots close enough to show we control the battlefield. Johnson fires 2 bullets that pass centimeters from the flanking Carnotaurus heads. The creatures have never heard the sound of supersonic bullets cutting the air near their ears. They retreat even further, roaring in confusion and alarm. But the Alpha is different. Even wounded, even half-blind, it doesn't retreat. It advances. Rodriguez activates the incendiaries. Lines of fire cut through the forest, separating the Alpha from its allies and creating a circle of flames around the wounded predator. Ring of fire established! We have it isolated! The Alpha Carnotaurus is now alone, surrounded by fire, facing 4 humans who turned its own forest against it. For the first time since it escaped, it has no advantage. Chen watches through the drone as the creature slowly turns, evaluating its options with its remaining eye. It's calculating, Chen whispers in admiration. Even now, even wounded, it's looking for a way out. And then something happens that no one, not even the dinosaurs, expected. The Alpha stops moving. It sits on its hind legs like a giant dog and looks directly at Mitchell. There's no more threat in its movements, no more fury. There's respect. Commander, Johnson whispers over the radio. I think it's surrendering. Mitchell slowly lowers her weapon. Chen, is this possible? Can dinosaurs recognize when they've been defeated? Theoretically, if they have genetically modified social intelligence, it's possible they recognize dominance hierarchy. Chen, now! The tranquilizer dart hits the Alpha's neck. The creature staggers, then lies down gently on the forest floor, finally at peace. The other 2 Carnotaurus, seeing their leader asleep but breathing, also calm down. Mission accomplished, Mitchell speaks into the radio. 3 Carnotaurus alive and captured. Repeat, captured alive. Chen looks at his final data on the tablet. Commander, the other 2 Carnotaurus watch from a distance beyond the fire barrier, waiting to see what their Alpha will decide. The moment stretches like an eternity. Prehistoric predator looking into the eyes of modern hunters. 2 types of evolution, one biological, the other technological, finally meeting as equals. Mitchell makes the most courageous decision of her career. Rodriguez, lower a section of the fire barrier. Chen, prepare veterinary tranquilizer darts. Johnson, maintain cover, but don't shoot unless I order. She walks slowly toward the Alpha, hands visible, no weapons. Easy, big guy, she whispers. The battle is over. You fought well, but now we're going home. The Carnotaurus watches her approach. For a moment, it seems it might attack with its last strength. Then, incredibly, it lowers its massive head in a gesture that seems almost submission. Aegis proved that genetically modified dinosaurs can be defeated by conventional military tactics, if you're smart enough to use the environment as a weapon. Rodriguez laughs while treating his wounds. And if you have enough explosives, Johnson comes down from the tree. And if you can hit an eye at 50 meters in the dark. Mitchell looks at the 3 sleeping predators as rescue helicopters approach in the distance. And if you remember that no matter how big or scary your enemy is, brains always beat muscles. But while the seals await extraction, Chen discovers something on his tablet that freezes his blood. Commander, I just hacked more laboratory files. The Carnotaurus were just the pilot project. There's something much bigger waking up in the main facility. Mitchell smiles tiredly. Of course there is. Rodriguez, how many explosives do we still have? Enough to bring down an entire city block, Commander. Perfect. Looks like our night shift just got extended. Imagine you have a super fast race car, but it weighs 3 tons. That's a Carnotaurus. They were like the sprinters of dinosaurs, with enormous legs and super developed muscles that made them run up to 60 kilometers per hour, faster than any human. But here's the scientific trick. Big muscles need lots of oxygen and energy. It's like a race car engine, super powerful, but also consumes a lot of fuel very quickly. So even being super fast, they couldn't run at that speed for very long. The Navy SEALs were smart to use this biological limitation against them, forcing them to spend energy until they got tired and more vulnerable. In nature, this is called natural selection. Whoever uses energy best survives. Do you think humans would have a chance against a creature like this in real life? Could our technology and teamwork really overcome prehistoric brute force? Comment below. Hey, did you guys like this epic battle? Drop that like and share with friends who also love dinosaurs and military action. And since we're talking about animals in impossible sizes, how about watching our next video about what would happen if a rabbit was the size of a stegosaurus? It's going to be totally crazy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to not miss any crazy adventure.